To all the single parents out there, whether you're single parent by choice or by the reason of separation, whether you're divorced, widowed, whether you're ex-partner, pregnant and alone, or even co-parenting, this channel is especially tailored for you. My name is Betty, your noble host. Welcome. Before we proceed, please like, share, subscribe to this channel. Also click on the notification bell for new content. All right, let's begin now. I once went on a date with someone, maybe a year ago, something like that. And when we were just chatting, he asked me, so why did you decide to be a single parent? And for a moment there, I did not understand him. I said, what? So he repeated and said, why did you decide to become a single parent? And I just looked at him very strangely. I just took a moment. I composed myself. Because it's the way he asked that question that really was offensive to me. And this was my reply to him. I said, sir, nobody wakes up in the morning and wants to become a single parent. Of course, granted, there are people who just want to have children who they want to adopt and raise as their own, but they have their own reasons. But for somebody who wants to be in a loving relationship, somebody who wants, romance in their life, a family, they don't just wake up and just decide to randomly give birth to children. They must have been in some sort of relationship before they decided to have kids, whether by luck or by choice. So I said, sir, nobody wakes up in the morning and decides, you know what? I want to be a single parent. That will be good for me. I want my child not to have a father in their life. And I really took offense, by the way, by that question. And for some reason, he might have been sincerely asking. But I don't know. I took offense. So I'm here to tell everyone who is listening, especially to all of you who think that people become single parents just because they want to be. People become single parents because of circumstances of life. Life happens to us all. It leaves some dead. It leaves some disappointed. It leaves some jailed. It leaves some pregnant and alone. And it leaves some single parents. I have a friend. She's actually my hairstylist. She does my hair. This lady was married some 8 years ago. I'm telling you, she was, what we call properly married. Dowry, and then the big wedding. For us Africans, we have that tradition of dowry payment, and it's a big deal in Africa here. And she, when the man who was her boyfriend asked her, proposed to her, she was so excited and she said, yes, I will marry you. And off she went and got married to this man. He paid her dowry very well. They did a big church wedding and all. The vows were made. And off they started living their life. And what do you know? Soon as she landed in his house, then he started to beat on her, to violate her in the worst way. And for those 8 years, she prayed to God and told God, you gave me this husband. She justified it like that. The Lord, you gave me this husband. And because I've made my vows to you and to him, I will stick in this relationship. And she did. For 8 good years. For 8 good years. She had her 3 children. 3 beautiful girls. And for 8 years, she had seen the worst kind of darkness there is in this world. She had seen this man who was loving and kind to her, who once was loving and kind to her, turn and become a monster. He cheated on her. He slapped her around, brought women in their house, slept with them, violated her in the worst way. I mean, in the worst way. And when she could not take it anymore, when that 8th year reached, after she had prayed to God to change him, and he was not changing, she decided, I have to leave this place. I must leave or I die. There was no other choice. Either she would stay and die or leave and let live. So one day, this monster of a man came back home drunk and absolutely violent and started beating on her as usual. And this one, she when she narrates the story, she says, this was the worst beating of her life. Others she had to camouflage, but this one, it was all blood, spilling. And she had to go and hide herself in a room to avoid the beating. And the man would scream after her and tell her, I'm going to kill you today. Today you're going to die. And she made a very conscious decision then. And she called her brother. And her brother happened to pick up. And she told her brother, you guys have to come for me or I will die. This man wants to kill me. And the brother just rushed there with a few of other guys and rescued her and her children. And while they were leaving, because she only left with what she was wearing, both her and her children, the man was telling her, you will regret the day you left me. I will never take care of your rotten life. This man who promised and made a vow to God that he will love and take care of her forever. Well, not forever, but until death do them part. She had to leave for her life with nothing. It's like the way she just came in, she left with nothing but her kids in tow. And that is why today she's a single mother. Should you have asked her, would you ever have left your husband? She would be like, never ever. She would have done anything for him because she was sold out to this marriage. But because of his violent ways, because of his toxic ways, the marriage couldn't hold. And he had the audacity to blame her for it. So that they were married for 8 years. On the 8th year, she left the marriage. And now it has been 4 or 5 years since she left the marriage. And she has been hustling on her own because the man cut her off completely, her and her kids. That is why she's a single mother. And she's not the only one. There are many stories. I know of a lady, a neighbor. I used to be a neighbor of mine. She got married and the man just passed away. He just passed away. It's as if they went to the, they made their vows and then after a few weeks, he died. And that's why she's a single mother. Then there's another one. Her husband is in jail for years and years over a crime he committed. That's why she's a single mother. Another one, many stories of women who decided to fall, not decided, but they fell in love. Their emotions got the better part of them. They wanted a happily ever after, only to find rain. I mean torrent, that rain that falls, continuously. Pain. You think you're going to find love, but it is pain through and through. Some were divorced. I mean, I know a lady. She told me, my husband just woke up one morning and told me it's over. And then he went and divorced her and married another one almost immediately. Imagine that. After 15 years of marriage, somebody just decides to walk away just like that. And you are left confused. You are like, okay, what did I do? You start asking yourself questions that nobody has got an answer to them. And he told her, you know what, I'm going to raise my kids. These are my children. But I don't want you anymore. I don't love you anymore. So I'm leaving you. And he went and married another. Now she's a single mom. Well, he sends money. But that's all he does. They don't see each other anymore. Plenty of stories why women are single parents out here. Plenty. So, when next you decide to ask a woman, a single mother, or a single father too, you ask, why did you decide to be a single parent? I have already told you, some people did not just wake up and decide they want to be single parents. Life happened to them. Life just happens to them. Life happens to you and you have no control over what happens tomorrow or today, whatever. It happens. Get used to it. So for those who are asking that question, those ones who look at single parents and they're asking, why is this one a single parent? Before you ask that question, have a little compassion. Have a little compassion on those souls. Because who doesn't want a happily ever after? Who? Who does not want a happily ever after? Even monsters in our fairy tales have happily ever after. Do you know Beauty and the Beast, right? Even the beast in this story has a happily ever after. Everybody wants it. Everybody. So don't discredit single parents, especially single mothers. Don't discredit them. Have a little compassion. Sit them down and ask them. If you're interested in them, ask them. Don't ask, why did you decide to be a single mother? That's not the question you ask. The proper question to ask is, how come you're single? Tell me your story. I'm interested in hearing. That is how you break it down. That is how you show compassion. But these questions that people just ask aimlessly. Nobody decides to be a single parent. It is the most toughest job people have. Raising a child by yourself, my friend, it's not easy, especially when you have more than two. It's not easy. And on top of that, maybe you want to try out love again after maybe a failed attempt. And then you find this person who is interested in you and ask you that kind of question. It really puts one off, I'm sorry to say. So ask again that question. Why are you single? But don't ask, why did you decide to be a... Nobody decides to be a single mother. Nobody. Nobody stands and says, you know what? I think I want to be a single mother. Nobody. At least I have not met anybody who wants to be. Yes, there are people who want to raise children. But most of them adopt and they decide, you know what? I can't wait for my happily ever after. Might as well help some people. Let me help a few children. Let me adopt them. Let me give them a good life because I can afford it. But even them too, when you really, really dig deep into their lives, maybe they were heartbroken. And they decided these heartbreaks are not worth my while. Let me just adopt. Okay? And that's how they became single parents by choice. They made their choice. So I want people to be compassionate. Have compassion for the single mothers. People don't have compassion for single parents. They don't. Somebody will just decide in their mind, this one must have been careless. Or this one just produces kids. This one just wants to be pregnant. You know, that's how people talk. It's so careless. It's so evil. That's how I feel. So when next you're interested in a single mother or a single father, ask the question correctly. It shows that you have compassion over them. It shows that you care for them. Not that they cannot take it. They are tough. I mean, anyone who gets to raise a child on their own is a tough person. What I'm asking is a little compassion. Okay, people? Thank you. So to all my single parents, I do hope and pray that this message has helped you in various ways. Okay? Also, don't forget to click on the notification bell for new content. To all that have tuned in, may the good Lord bless you, may He keep you, and may He make His face to shine upon you always. Until then, this is Betty wishing you a blessed day. Amen.